Oh, fuck, we're live!
Yep.
Yep, we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Nerds Podcast.
You want a radio announcer this shit?
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to the Three Nerds Podcast, where you can get your casty pods every day. My name is Lazrpo, but people know me as a grand poobah of all things cringe. That's right. That's me. That's a me, Amari Wee. So just next
time you get a chance
to see some like really cool stuff, I'll be there.
and also there's Moonlight Shimmer and ArticJay.
So professional. Such wow.
But yeah, I'm very professional with what I do.
Yes. Hello. Moonlight at your service. And what? I
almost threw my monitor down the back end of the desk.
Why?
Because of where my microphone's positioned. When I went to put it back into the stand, it hit the monitor and just almost went boop. I know what I'm doing. I'm professional.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, so we've got a few topics. I kind of think. Do you want to start with the Eminem one that I just posted in our chat?
Who's Eminem?
He's the guy who decided to name himself after a candy brand.
Shit, that's disappointing.
God, I sound like such a dude. Holy.
Now, do you want us to listen to this, or?
I posted it in case you guys want to listen to it. I can post it in chat too. It's about a 4-minute thing, and it's done like cipher style. So he's just basically rhyming his stuff out to say it instead of just saying it as a press release or something like that. So it is rhyming. There is flow to it, but there isn't so much. Like he does pause a couple times, like he's trying to collect his thoughts.
You know, I'm not a very big fan of the fact that we didn't have a random fact of the day.
Oh, I can get that while you're watching this.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, I feel like I've
completely forgot.
I've been gypped.
Vomit Comet.
Sure, that works.
I'll open that as a potential. Oh, I knew that one. Homosexuality in the Batman franchise.
You know, I'm really not liking the fact that this is censored.
Oh, is that one censored?
Yeah, every time. So far at the end of every bar, there's just been a blank.
Wow. I listened to it originally on Twitter, so I don't know where I could find the uncensored version really quick. You might be able to while I'm doing this. Vomit. Oh, I'm the only one here.
I'm here.
Well, I wasn't sure. You don't have your camera on. You weren't talking. The Poe of Lasers is gone.
Everyone died for a second. And tired. I'm sure once we get to the middle of the stream, we'll have some bullshit going on.
We always do. Well, do you want to pick really quick Comet Vomit or JFK Reloaded?
Wait, what? Say that again? I got Comet Vomit.
Comet Vomit or JFK Reloaded?
Comet Vomit, I guess.
I might do both, but we'll start with Comet Vomit. And we'll let Lazrpo decide if we should do JFK Reloaded because it's bad. Okay, so Comet Vomit or Vomit Comet is when you reduce gravity, when a reduced gravity aircraft with a fixed wing. Oh, hey. So I found another article, but we're doing Comet Vomit first, or Vomit Comet, and that is it's called JFK Reloaded. It was a video game that came out in 2004.
I've played JFK Reloaded.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
But what is the Vomit Comet?
So basically, it's when in a fixed wing aircraft they do that whole arch and descend to simulate simulate no gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It's unofficially nicknamed that by people who have experienced it. Probably due to nausea that can come on from it, nausea and air sickness from zero-G maneuvers, because it will leave you weightless for 25 seconds at a time.
Beautiful.
And so it basically takes you from increased G's as you go up to it slowly goes away till you end up at zero gravity for 25 seconds, and then you suddenly experience gravity slowly come back on again. And you can imagine how that would make you nauseous coming in and out of gravity.
Especially after a 25-second lull of none.
Yeah.
Just with that slight arc of going in and out of gravity.
That
sounds awful.
Mind you, they've used this reduced gravity aircraft to test the effect of the domestic house cat's riding reflex when it comes to pivoting in the air. Making a cat weightless for 25 seconds.
Oh my god.
It just sounds awesome.
They got people sticking their pussies in the air.
They've also done this to a pigeon to attempt to see what it would, how it would navigate weightlessness.
What the fuck? That's such an uncool thing.
This is beautiful because it just sounds so evil.
Animal testing done entirely wrong. It's legitimately saying, we know this is possibly going to hurt the animal. In fact, they're not going to know what to do. Let's do it anyway. For science.
For science. It's beautiful. So they've used it for different things, but wow. Like they've even shot
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, World of Warcraft. So they've shot movies and stuff using that, like a couple scenes for The Mummy with Tom Cruise and whatever her name is.
Yeah, whatever. What was her name?
Yeah.
Padding out that length.
Apparently, though, the people are just really used to experiencing motion sickness from it. So.
Oh, that's her name, Garbary Sibidae.
Well, no, this was Annabelle Wallace.
Yeah, Garbary Sibidae.
Okay.
It wasn't Garbary Sibidae.
So yeah, that was the Vomit Comet. Not quite as cool.
It was still pretty interesting.
Oh boy.
But so you also have the other one, which is JFK Reloaded.
Yes.
It's a fun experience.
Did you know there was a contest around that one?
I didn't know there was a contest. What was the contest about it?
People were able to submit their scores rating how close their version of the events were to the Warren Commissions for a competition that ended in 2005. They were promising up to $100,000, but the final prize was 10 grand. Someone won money for trying to simulate perfectly JFK's assassination in a game about killing JFK.
Oh my god. That's fantastic.
How is this a good idea?
Well, it was a good idea. Look, I remember when this game came out, okay? The point is it's basically a history game where you make the president history. It's not supposed to be as morbid as it's played out to be. In fact, apparently it was part of Law and Order. You know, just kind of like entertain the conspiracy theories around JFK's death. But part of the whole reason behind it is like see, like they use their differences to like actually figure out how the game worked. And it kind of provided like an insight to see how all of the camera angles like gave way to how everything worked out. It's basically a live simulation based on evidence.
Okay.
I think it's pretty cool. That's just me.
I'm shook.
I'm shook. Yeah, apparently you were allowed 39 shots in the game, but in order to be closest to accurate, you can only fire 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because there were only 3 recorded shots.
Yep. The competition was originally like there was a higher price for the game. After the competition ended, the cost of the game dropped to $5 before later being free up until the official website closed in 2005.
Mm-hmm. That's another reason why it was good. It was free, and free things are always good.
Now you can
Except
hunt down this game and play it.
Except for HIV, which we will talk about later.
Wasn't ready for that.
I'm good at segueing. I just don't know if you want to talk more about other things first.
No, we're good to go there.
We don't have to go there now.
We can either go there or we can hit the Eminem diss track.
I would say probably do the Eminem diss track first because it seems like whenever there's a topic that I kind of actually have interest in, it's hard for people to bounce off me. So go ahead with the Eminem diss track.
So Eminem released a diss track on BET during the it was played out, I guess, during the Hip Hop Awards. He performed a freestyle rap against President Donald Trump, calling him everything from a racist grandpa to a kamikaze that will probably cause a nuclear holocaust.
Sounds about right.
Even saying that while all the bombs are dropping, he'll just be flying around in his plane where he'll be safe.
Yeah. I was trying to look up lyrics for it real quick, but that way I can kind of pick them apart.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it really quick. That's the best lines.
Found
Yeah,
them, CNN.
Huh?
Found them, CNN. Fake news.
Oh, of course, the fake news would have it. this racist 94-year-old grandpa. It's beautiful. He definitely unloads on Trump. I know I retweeted it.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit charged in this one.
Well, okay. Admittedly, and I can go back and talk about this easily. If you go back and look at Encore. Encore is a good example, that album. In Encore, he repeatedly makes jabs at George Bush. In fact, he got in trouble over some of the stuff he said in those songs, which is not all, but part of the reason he took the hiatus he took.
Right.
Because he basically waited until Bush was out of office before he released an album. If you look at the timeline, he basically made that one where I think in 3 songs he bashes Bush really hard. In fact, one of them was so bad that the Secret Service was looking into Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
So he took a 4-year break from music.
Of course.
Coincidentally, the 4-year break just happened to coincide with the length of his term in office. I know there was more to it than that because he was suffering from drug problems, he was suffering from health issues and other stuff like that. But it's still.
Well, but naturally, you don't want to be labeled that guy who caused too much trouble trying to deal with the president.
Yeah.
That's a great way to wind up with some really bad issues.
Well, I think that might have something to do with the fact of, like, you know, we know he's not for conservative presidents. You know, he bashed the shit out of Bush.
Right.
For 8 years during Obama, he was pretty okay. He was pretty active. He got back into making music and was doing okay. Now we're dealing with Trump, and you can see really quick that he's not pro-Trump.
Not too many people are, though. I mean that's the good thing for him right now is that he is being aggressive toward the president in a situation where everyone's being aggressive toward the president.
I'm just kind of glad that he actually, if you pay attention to the stuff that he said in that song, I think that he took a lot of lessons that he should have learned from the previous time.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially he didn't make any threats, didn't say anything about him removing, you know, him from the office, just basically bashed the shit out of him, calling him terrible things. Because that was the big thing that hurt him with Bush, was he made comments about actually taking Bush out of the Oval Office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a little difference between just saying you're a terrible person and saying we're going to drag you out in front of everybody.
Right. Big difference.
So I think he took some lessons from back then and is employing them now, which is good. It's just it's gonna be interesting to see if he releases anything in the next 3 or 4 years, because
stuff can only go downhill from here. Made his statement, and he's one of many people who don't like Trump.
Yeah, but remember, everyone who doesn't like Trump is, you know, fake news and terrible people. Just remember that.
Look, we all know, like, firsthand that I tried to give this guy a chance myself. But wow, we're shooting some really odd laws around and some really odd decisions. But you know, everything has their opinion. Nothing's fake news, except unless it's the Fader.
The Onion.
They're not fake news, they're satire. Different thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're not intentionally trying to go after someone using fake news. They are like 100% fake news that shouldn't be taken seriously.
I'll give you that one.
Oh, hi, Dead Moon.
But yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see how that stuff went. I'm gonna be interested to see how this whole thing goes.
Oh well, definitely.
There's a funny side note to this. Back in 2004, when Slim Shady was running a mock campaign, Donald Trump came out in New York City for Eminem and endorsed him endorsed Slim Shady for his fake run.
Oh boy. Well, that makes it a lot more interesting.
I know this because Philip DeFranco tweeted out the video.
Trump, you done fucked up. Slim's gonna come for you, bitch.
Slimanus, you damn right, Slimanus. I didn't mind looking at you little flaming facts.
Jeez. Shit. Okay. Well,
you know who that insult was just directed at, right?
no, I don't.
That line comes from an older one of his older songs, and that was directed at ICP because ICP made this at Eminem, and so his calling him Slimanus. So he responded back by saying, "Slimanus, you damn right, Slimanus. I didn't mind like you two little flaming bags."
Oh my god. That's brilliant.
I miss the feud between them because there were so many hilarious digs at them from M. But I'm glad that they kissed and made up because, well, they're too old to carry a grudge.
Yeah, they're pretty old. It'd be the same. If it was the same beat, it'd almost be like three grandparents just fighting over the last donut or something.
So now that one's out of the way, unless you have some stuff to add to it.
Not really.
Moon,
Yes.
do you have any input, any words, anything to say?
Besides falling asleep and dying, I don't know what to say to this. I really don't.
Little does everyone know that the reason why Moonlight keeps the whole reason why Moon just keeps taking off her camera, it's that nurses keep coming to her hospital bed to give her new IVs of medication to attempt to keep her alive.
That's a great way to put it. Thanks, Lazrpo. Yeah, I fall asleep easily through these streams. It's a daily thing for me. I stay up late all the time. This happens at least almost every live stream. I'm sorry, you two. I get quiet, but then at least mid to end stream, I hop out, and then I start, and bullshit starts, and God, I need to stop staying up late.
No offense to you two, but you guys are really, really boring, so I sleep through part of the podcast till it gets fun.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
It's okay. We understand the truth. I mean, personally, I keep my camera on at all times, but that's none of my business.
So if someone sees me dies, they'll know what happened. They'll be the witness. Oh, God.
Well, now that we know the truth, do you want to talk about California?
Oh, do we have to talk about fucking California?
You wanted to. You're the one who wanted to bring it up.
The only reason why I don't want to talk about it is because everyone thinks this is fucking stupid. Okay, so
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's some people out there who are going, "Damn, awesome! I can go give transfusions. I can go people."
Okay, so for everyone uninitiated to this stupid law that I think passed 4 days ago, California Governor Jerry Brown and Senator Scott D. Wiener, still a great name, have passed a law to essentially make giving someone HIV a misdemeanor instead of a felony. And that also includes people who are donating blood without giving note that they have HIV themselves.
Well,
And so essentially they've legalized it, basically. You know, it's basically a slap on the wrist from everyone involved at that point. You know, except for the person who fucking gets it. So all I'm saying is stay away from California. You know, you don't know who's going to be throwing around HIV like some kind of monster. And you know, stay away from automobiles, any blood splatter, any attempt that you would any attempt to be somewhat adventurous. Shit, stay away from hospitals in California. Because if you need a blood transfusion, you might get AIDS.
yeah.
And do we know why this happened?
I thought you said
Anyone want to guess? Anyone want to guess?
because it's treatable.
That's not entirely why. However, that being said, people are living longer with HIV. Note longer, not full lives. It still distinctly shortens people's lives, and some people can't get any of the help that they need to prolong their lives with HIV. But also, it's because people with HIV, their feelings are hurt. I'm serious. Part of the reason why this was done was because the HIV community, I guess we'll put a community with quotes, like as if people are intentionally getting HIV to become part of a community. But I know that's not true, but well, or maybe it is. I don't know anymore. But it's because people with HIV are tired of being demonized and treated as if they have something that inhibits their life, even though that's the thing that it does. So this law has been passed to attempt to decriminalize HIV and to normalize it and make it seem like it's less of what it actually is, a debilitating disease that transforms to AIDS and kills people.
Normalizing HIV. Hurry, give it to everyone.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
I'll be left front.
Okay, right back. I'll still be Lazrpo. But oddly enough, the first few days it wasn't very talked about, which kind of confuses me. But that being said,
I know I've seen a couple people mention it.
Mm-hmm. Specifically Blair.
I didn't see Blair's mention of it.
Yeah, let me see if I can't get it back out. Oh, she has typed California. She typed California, and the Daily Caller sent out a tweet saying California to have harsher penalty for... Oh, this is another thing we could talk about, because they passed that law too, but California to have harsher penalties for pronoun violations than knowingly spreading HIV. Which is true too, because now it's specific when it comes to the pronoun violations, because it's specifically toward elder care. Because there were older people, you know, who were put in you know, assisted living and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Assisted living, old folks homes, where they had already transitioned, but because their biological sex was put on their forms, they were being called the sex identifier instead of the gender. And California passed a law to make it a legal offense to call an older person who is already transitioned or is in mid-transition something by a carer instead of what they prefer.
Okay, then.
But that is another controversial law that happened. So now you can actually get in more trouble for calling someone who is mid-transition or finished with their transition the wrong pronoun than you can be like giving someone AIDS. You know, attempted murder, manslaughter,
Womanslaughter.
gender neutral slaughter.
Non-binary slaughter.
Yeah, they laughter.
They laughter. Fort Lauderdale. Anyways, yeah, like as someone who is, when it comes to the pronoun aspect, as someone who is trans, I still, while I wish people would call me the right thing all the time, especially when I'm obviously presenting.
Certainly.
I mean, it's one thing when I'm at work and I've got my work shirt, my jeans on, and you know my badge that says Jane and the pin that says she, her. It's one thing for them to look at me and get that one wrong. It's another thing when I'm going around in a dress and then get it wrong.
Yeah, fair point. But even with it, though, like just imagine this. Like, imagine in today's society where being transgender is not necessarily transitioning from one gender to the other. It's transitioning between different genders.
I really want to use this part. Oh.
I know you don't like talking about this part of the subject. But that's what the term is now. And with that, the idea of passing this law changed. So now if you have a non-binary, queer, bigender, agender, gender neutral, gender fuck, whatever, if they go by different pronouns than you think that they do, you can be tried for it and actually get a hefty fine. And I don't know necessarily how California deals with it, but I know that felonies can get you jail time here in Missouri. So
What?
Yeah.
Repeat that. I think I missed something. The last part.
That felonies can in Missouri can get you jail time.
Well, felonies anywhere should be able to get you jail time, theoretically.
But also everywhere age shouldn't be able to be transmittable without consent either. But here we fucking are.
What the hell consents to AIDS?
Some people do. Some people fucking do. It's weird. We live in a strange world. People who are HIV positive will sometimes be able to get consent from people who are HIV negative because condoms.
Oh, and here I thought this was like someone who was trans disease, kind of like the transabled lady who poured Drano in her eyes.
I don't know how what the current definition of transabled can be, because you can only do that once. But it's felonies everywhere should be able to get you jail time. I don't necessarily know if the new gender law in California will get you a felony, but I can only imagine it's a baby step toward it. Because, actually, wait, I have Google right in front of me. Hold on.
And at the same point in time, I think my view has slowly kind of changed a little bit when it came to some of that stuff. To people I talk to and friends.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as harsh as I was like last year.
Indeed. Like it definitely took some exposure, but yeah, this stuff does exist, and it is like, personally, I've always been someone to show respect to anyone doing anything with their life. You know, you do you. I could care less if
as long as it's not causing long-term physical harm, like the trans-abled lady.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it doesn't alter your well-being. But okay, here we go. New California law allows jail time for using the wrong gender pronoun. Sponsors deny it will happen, but oh, by the way, this is Fox News, another fake news network.
No, Fox isn't fake. Remember, they support Trump.
But I thought they were faux news. Oh no, wait, that was Obama. That's right.
Yeah, because they're a Republican news source as opposed to like CNN, which is more neutral / Democratic.
So apparently the point with the new gender identity law, you know, other than, you know, supporting gender identities for the elderly, which seems to be not be noted on here. Maybe it isn't just the elderly, but maybe it was meant for the elderly and it just turned into everybody. But you know, that's how California laws are. You give them an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah, you give them a boner, they give you AIDS.
Yeah, you give them a wiener, they give you a boner sent via phone. Anthony Weiner. But apparently, Weiner's office noted that the law does not create any new criminal provisions, but rather creates new rights within an existing structure.
What about the left?
Sorry, I'm trying to play Mystic Messenger.
Oh, and here I thought it was my statement because it was timed perfectly.
Yeah, I thought the whole point was that you weren't getting bored of the podcast in the middle of
No, I didn't say No, I just wanted to check my R classes and stuff. I haven't played the...
Here, hold on. I'll give my opinion on this. Just let me finish catching this Pokemon real quick.
Hey, don't judge me.
You don't realize this is a damn Entei. I need to get this.
I'm here most of the time anyway, so
except when you're asleep.
I'm still here. I'm aware 99% of the time.
Only 99%. The other 1%, you're asleep.
That's I fall asleep. I'm not completely asleep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I prefer to autumn asleep.
Shit right here in this game. Freak God. I want to play.
California is really known for weird laws.
No shit. I think we're finally reaching the peak of this, because you know, I don't think that giving people incurable diseases is necessarily something that should be entertained.
You know what that makes me think of, though? It reminds me of, shall I say?
What's that?
Months and months and months and months and months ago, back when I went to Pride. I don't remember if I talked about this on the podcast.
Well, you are now.
I am now. When I went to Pride months ago, I was approached by someone, literally because I was trans. They were going around.
Judgmental.
Well, no, they quite literally stated why they bugged me. They were going and only talking to MTF trans people and gay men, because it was a clinical trial or something like that for some AIDS prevention medication. And so it was like, here, if you're a sexually active biological male, we want you to see if you can sign up for this study for this pill that will prevent you from getting AIDS. Maybe.
Because women can't get AIDS. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that now, I guess.
Men
But
do
go
have
on.
a higher. I think we've been over this before. Like, there is a higher.
Well, yeah, it's if I remember correctly, it's 17 times more possible to get HIV through anal sex than any other means.
I actually
But,
was just
you know-
watching a video about that. It's like, oh gosh, it's a new YouTube, not new YouTuber, it's a YouTuber I just started watching, because this is like how I spend my days, is stumbling across YouTubers.
I'm gonna screech really loud because this is bullshit.
Please don't
Charging-
screech really loud.
Because they're
I
screeching.
didn't know HIV was so entertaining for you.
No, this game, it's charging me 100 hearts for 1 art glass. What is this life? Ugh. Fuck this.
Let's see if I can find it. This guy he's a doctor. He's like a literal medical doctor who used to be a Let's Player and now talks about medical stuff on his channel. Before he started talking about medical stuff all the time, he did it intermixed occasionally.
That's a fucking switch.
Yeah, I went from Let's Plays. I mean, he only played like a handful of games. He was really known for playing Nuclear Throne, which is a good game. He's like from Illinois or the St. Louis area or something like that too, from what I understand. But he actually talks about basically breaking down what he breaks down what ways you can basically what the odds are of catching AIDS. You know, someone pairing up with a HIV infected person, and the different ways that it can actually transmit from the tests, from the studies, and it slowly goes down until it's like it gets to here it is, because this was from back with the Orlando shootings. He wanted to give his input on it from when they were pushing for like, well, why can't they give blood? And he's like, well, this is why, and until they can find a way to prevent this, I can't argue.
That's another thing that's really bugging me too, by the way. If I can just interject a bit.
Go ahead.
The Moonlight just left again. The Las Vegas shooting just happened where it injured over 500 people. And then this law just popped up for blood transfusions. I'm sure there are multiple people from California who went to Las Vegas, because it's literally, for some of them, a short drive away almost. Maybe a day to go to this. And there's going to be people getting blood transfusions. I'm not a big fan of that either.
I mean, at least the ones in Vegas should be fine.
The ones in Vegas should be fine, but that's a should. But go on. I'm sorry I interjected with that.
No, you're fine. It's very much of an interesting thing because like transfusions are lower on the list. The highest infection is through anal sex.
Right.
The lowest, I want to say, was by passing a needle.
I guess I'm more of a fan of not having a possibility. As awful as this sounds, as awful as this sounds, if I'm getting HIV, it better be one of the reasons it counts. Because otherwise I'd be pissed. Oh, you're in the hospital because you need blood. Well, you're fucked.
All right. Oh, here it is. Blood transfusion is no, it's sorry. It's at the highest. The highest Blood transfusion, out of 10,000 exposures, 9,250 got infected. An infected mother giving birth to a child, 2,260. Anal intercourse, 138 out of 10,000. Needle sharing is 63 out of 10,000.
Oh, that's surprisingly low. Everyone do heroin.
The person doing the fucking, not the one receiving, is even lower if because the person who's on top during anal intercourse has only an 11 out of 10,000 chance. And then vaginal intercourse is 8 and 4 out of 10,000. Yes, if you do it multiple times, you're like it's still going to key regardless. But blood transfusion is the highest risk. So I really think that, you know, even if you decriminalize the others because they are lower risk, it is a much rarer thing to happen that way. You should not decriminalize it when it comes to the. Yeah.
Alrighty then.
What's up?
My shit crashed.
Flag again and shoot you immediately across to now.
Who?
Well, you were mid-sentence, and then all of a sudden I just heard nothing and a loud sigh.
No, that's all I did was I stopped and I just sighed.
Okay, I was like, I was listening, and all of a sudden everything just fucking died. But no, with all of this, just, you know, obviously I'm definitely not a big fan of it. I know you're not a big fan of any of this stuff happening.
Yep.
Because, you know, no risk is the best risk.
Oh, always.
And you know what? That's another thing that was popping up too. Because I decided to go to my best news source for all things social, BuzzFeed. I looked at a few of the HIV videos on there, and one of the arguments is that why would you risk getting HIV when you could go with someone who was who had their numbers reduced. You know, someone who is much less possible to contract HIV, but they do have it. And that's a statement that makes sense, which is worrying.
Allie, you can.
But the big thing is, hope that's not related. But the most worrying thing about that is that not only is that statement true, you know, so it holds some kind of weight, but we're getting into a world where it's significantly more possible to get it. You can live with it, but you can still potentially get it.
Yep.
I don't know. I guess I just found that strange. I don't really have anything to add on past that because, well, this law is only 4 days old.
See, the worst thing is okay. Years ago, back when I worked in another town at the same company, we had an instance where someone was going around that town and they were dumping needles in trash cans. And if I remember correctly, the needles did test positive for HIV. And we had one of our maintenance people who ended up, that's how we found out that they were in there, because that maintenance worker got poked by one of the needles.
Really?
Yes. And that's how we found out the needles were there. That's how we, you know, they took upon action to be more cautious as they checked all the other ones, found multiple needles, sent them off to be tested. This person for 7 years, I don't know the end result of everything, but this person for at least 7 years had to be very had to go and get regular testing. It was paid for by the company, but he had to go and get regular testing and had basically treat for years like he was infected when he was married and everything. I don't know if he still is, but I know he is or was. And he had that uncertainty over his head for years. And in California, would they even attempt to police that?
Well, no. Why would they police that? It's now just a misdemeanor. It's on the same level as drunk driving.
What, Dad?
So there's absolutely no reason for them to police it, you know?
Yeah.
But seeing as there's no repercussion for doing it, you know, other than a slap on the wrist and maybe a fine, what's going to stop people from doing it?
The fine?
Some people can afford a fine. If you have someone you really don't like and you can just slap some blood on them, or you can find some way to get in their pants, not saying rape. Something tells me there'd actually be an issue with that. Please don't decriminalize that, California.
What, Dad?
California decriminalizes rape.
Okay.
Oh my God. That'd be like the least and most SJW thing possible. But imagine having a method to get actual revenge on someone and shorten their life. Like, and I'm certainly not speaking from experience because I obviously, first of all, I don't have AIDS. I don't have HIV, but with a lot of this stuff, it just seems like it should be. I lost my train of thought because pink.
You don't have it, but you... I don't know where you were planning on going with this.
Oh yeah, I was backpedaling to keep myself from getting in trouble for talking about raping people to give them AIDS. I remember now. I've never had these intentions or thoughts, and I also don't have AIDS or HIV. But the fact that some people can and would and actually do, I mean, there's a case going on right now where someone intentionally gave people AIDS. The fact that it can be just a few fines is insane.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. The whole fact that anybody would be like, well, if I've got this, I'm going to go ahead and infect other people with it.
Mm-hmm. I have a weapon. I can use it to my extent.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, I mean,
I
that's
know,
typically how they'd spread it.
I mean, I guess you could also share needles, but that's significantly less of a possibility. I mean,
yeah, but that gives you a longer time to build up a bond.
Yeah, but most people, you'll be called out on your shit as soon as you stab someone with a needle. I mean, don't ignore that thing. Where you can get a nice bump and grind relationship going on with someone as a means of vengeance. Anyway, it just sucks. One of the worst laws that's ever been enacted.
Yeah.
But do we have anything else to add to this? I mean, like I said, it's very new. It's very
Butts.
that is how it spreads, yes. Lots of butt stuff.
Weird butt stuff.
Oh no, it's specifically the not weird butt stuff too, where you just stick pee-pees in butts. Straight peen to pooper action. Here, let's make this a little more easy to digest.
Straight peen to pooper action.
Oh my gosh, really? Did we have to go there?
Yep.
But okay, so that's that topic then.
What do you think of the Harvey Weinstein controversy?
Who the fuck is Harvey Weinstein? I actually don't know who this guy is. So he's an ABC film producer and former studio executive that co-founded Miramax and produced several popular independent films such as Pulp Fiction, Clerks, The Crying Game, Sex and Lies, and Videotape. Something tells me that that last title is probably similar, like the reason why we're talking about him now.
Well, the former. He has had years of allegations of him trying to force himself on women in multiple ways. Years of allegations.
So Sex, Lies, and Videotape is?
Miramax was finally pressured to make a response, and he was finally pressured to do something, say something. He said, "I'm going to take some time off and try and go seek out therapy and be better." And Miramax instead, which his brother co-founded the company. His brother and the entire board was like, how about you just leave, and fired him instead.
Ah, cool.
And now just more and more, now that it's basically come out, more and more and more people have come out of the woodwork, including Angelina Jolie and others.
Mm.
The list of people who have thrown in their 2 cents about stuff that Weinstein has done to or around or near them is getting to the point that like his lawyers have had to respond to it and say, please, basically say, this isn't proved, so please stop.
Mm-hmm.
He won't admit to it, aside from the fact that he'll say like, he needs help.
The unfortunate thing is that even with all these allegations, something probably won't happen.
Well, he lost his job.
But with that, it's still... Well, there are 17 of them. The only thing is that when I see something like this, my first thought is Dr. Luke. The guy who basically has Kesha under contract to do like 3 more albums with him, regardless of whether or not she wants to do it. So she came out with her story about how she was sexually assaulted by him, and a bunch of other people jumped up and said, "Hey, this guy, he's not a very good person." Specifically, one that stands out, Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
And Pink is also refusing to work with him.
So is Gaga.
Yeah, Lady Gaga's also refused to work with him because they all know of his manipulative stuff, and the only thing that's really not working out is that no one cares. All these allegations, nothing.
I think Kesha got released from contract finally because she was refusing to actually do anything.
Did she? I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I want to say that she got released.
Kesha, new album. I know she's coming out with a new album.
I want to say that she got released. Or maybe that was just some misinformation running around, which could be the case too. How often does misinformation happen, right?
Oh, I know, right? I want to say that you're probably not wrong. Because I'm looking at the producers. Dr. Luke is nowhere to be found on there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So if she is still under this under this like backing, like where she has to produce with Dr. Luke. She found a loophole or something. But no, back to Weinstein. You know, just had to deviate for a bit there. Like, is there a lot of backing to this stuff, though? Like, I understand there's 17 plus actresses jumping up and saying that this guy is a pretty big shitheel. But do we have backing to the alleged shitheel?
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
Okay.
I mean, there has to be some backing to it, only because from allegations he was dropped. But then again, in media, if you get alleged of something, you immediately get antagonized. So,
Yeah.
I just remembered something else we can talk about.
Here. I'm concerned.
So am I.
Did you not hear the news about Nelly?
Huh?
You told me the news about Nelly, but I didn't actually hear it.
Oh, I'm sorry then. But oh great, there's more news that came out of it.
Okay.
Are you done with your Weinstein?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't really say much.
There wasn't a lot to be said about it, other than the fact that like everyone's basically coming out, and they've been coming out of the woodworks. There might be a little more on it now, but I haven't had enough time today to research it with my stream and everything.
There's not much else because I was looking it up, trying to grasp at straws to add a little bit more to it. But they have the entire details of it out. New York Times. No way, it's not New York Times. Shit.
Yeah, it's
Where
not the
is it?
failing New York Times.
Is this it? Yeah, the New Yorker actually has all of the stories lined up. If I'm not, just double checking numbers because I'm too lazy to read it like right now. There are a lot of the accusations actually published there, so I'll just drop the link in the chat. But pink. But if we want to talk about Nelly for a bit, Mr. Yeah. I released a song that sparked some interest like 17 years ago. He has been accused of rape.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Oh, there are quotes now. Like for the longest time, it was just, hey, yeah, he may have raped some chick. But also now he's accused of intimidating her.
Oh.
See here. Kohler cites a portion of the letter from Nelly's attorney calling the alleged victim a person with an agenda. She says it's morally reprehensible for an accused person and his bully lawyer to issue derogatory and defamatory statements against a young alleged rape victim. In the state of Washington, where those vicious attacks are issued in the form of threats. So he's in some deep water.
Yeah, according to his lawyers, the allegations are entirely false, but only time will tell.
Yeah. Don't we just love being in a world where we read something like somebody is legitimately accusing someone else of being raped, and we just have to say, yeah, but it's possible. but not always the case.
I mean, unfortunately, it is very much the case that that people have been known to lie.
I don't get it's really sad when you can look at people who try to defend the idea of always treating rape as something super duper serious. You know, I'm not being an apologist here, but I'm being realistic. There are so many people who lie about it now to try and defame people that it's very worrying, and I dare say it's created a rape culture. Sorry, I can't say it with a straight face.
Well, anyways,
fuck off.
Well, that was nice.
I seen the guffaw. I clicked off and clicked back, and I just seen a little impish smile on her face.
Unfortunately, in society nowadays, there are also issues where people who are victims of it, they'll see someone basically, like, oh no, this didn't happen, and they'll also see situations like, where the victim, be them illegitimate or not, gets bashed so heavily that they look at everything else and they just don't come out. And it aggravates me because people who are victimized end up biting their tongue and doing nothing because they're afraid no one's going to listen or no one's going to believe them or it won't go their way. I can kind of speak that one from experience.
Yeah. But the big problem that's been popping up is we almost treat allegations with the idea of people being guilty until proven innocent. And it's basically made everyone centrists.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a lot of it makes it a very difficult topic because it's something that should immediately be seen as the worst thing ever, because it is the worst thing ever.
Very much.
But the big, I hate that there has to be a but there, but if there's anything that makes it such a question, it's the fact that people try so hard with some of the allegations to push it so far. This is turning into a Linkin Park joke, and I'm sorry. But they push it so far that it winds up becoming questioned instead of being treated as an actual judicial process.
Yeah.
You know, the media goes ham over it. Social media goes ham over it. Everyone just freaks out about it. And some of the times where we've had freakouts, the people at the accused end of the stick did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's one of those case-by-case bases that make it really difficult to summarize. And in Nelly's case, I hope he didn't do anything like that, seeing as he's riding on his second Cloud 9 because he collaborated with a bunch of hicks from Arkansas. Or not Arkansas, from Florida and Georgia. And with that, he was able to get some sort of fame back out. So he's doing well for himself finally, and then this came out. So, and also he's a Missouri native, so I hope he didn't do anything.
His house is in St. Louis.
Yeah, we're better known for pedophiles, not rapists. Just saying.
Well, we'll see how everything goes. You know?
In fact, that made me go. I'm gonna go to the family watchdog and look us up again.
Wendy Williams made the comment that the accuser should have just stayed out of tour buses.
Shit. Well.
Also, he hasn't been officially charged. He was released without charge, and so it's only a matter of time before we find out what is or isn't going to happen, I guess.
See, that makes it a shame. Because if he was charged, then we know that there was evidence. But seeing as he wasn't charged, we know there is no evidence that has popped up thus far.
And it's pending investigation, if I understand correctly.
And I don't like that. But there we go, I guess. That it's a shitty topic to talk about, but we talked about it.
The problem is he's famous, and because he's famous, because he's a big name, he's a big person, he's a big everything, that leads it to the fact that people are going to...
Go ahead. Go ahead. You knew where I was going with that. I was going to make a joke out of the word big.
Anyways, it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, but when you have big names like that, as opposed to a smaller situation where you can believe it, unless you can, in a smaller situation like local and stuff like that, you'd be able to find out much easier or quicker if there was malicious intent or if it was legit.
Right.
When you're dealing with someone who's famous, this person could be looking for limelight. This person could not like this rapper. This person could have had it, say, paid for a VIP meet and greet or something like that and didn't like how it went down, or realized that they didn't live up to their expectations. There's a lot of things that could lead up to a false accusation. And at the same point in time, I don't want to say that that's what it is, because it could be 100% legitimate. But when it comes to famous people having allegations thrown against them, there has to be more research, I guess, because it would be nothing for, an artist to come to town, me go to their concert, and then just say something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the very unfortunate truth, that because stuff happens, you have to treat everything with caution when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really wish you didn't have to. I really wish we didn't live in a society where that was such a...
Where it was such a thing where we had to keep silent and hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moon, your phone's on your laptop.
Oh, what? Who? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm kind of. Oh, you can hear my phone vibrating.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's a very prominent.
I'm making a. I've been playing this game and my life. And what is this? What am I anymore? I'm trash. I am freaking trash.
I play Pokemon Go, I understand. And yes, every day. In fact, after this podcast, I have to go out and get my daily so I get my 7th day.
Oh man, that's uncomfortable to sit here for too long.
Oh, here's some interesting news. The Boy Scouts will now allow girls to admit into the Boy Scouts.
Nice.
Yeah, are you about as confused as I am?
Kind of.
I should preface this with it's a joke. It's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard.
God,
Oh, I see, Eric.
At this point, should we take it and rename them as the non-binary scouts?
I'm just confused as to why we call them the Boy Scouts.
That's the
Like, because what happens with the Girl Scouts now? Do we allow boys into the Girl Scouts, and then why don't we just call them the
They're
Scouts?
two separate organizations.
But we need.
I mean, come on, it's important. At that age, it's an important time for kids to explore and learn about themselves. And
No, that's not. No.
Oh my head. Ow.
No. I mean, I guess.
Are you going to agree with me?
No, I'm not going to agree with you. I think that there was a good. Let's see. How in the world do we phrase this? I think that keeping the two genders, like the two specific genders, separate to boys and girls for the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, allowing a bunch of sexually awkward children and teenagers, adolescents, into the same group is going to lead to a lot of problems.
What if you have a non-binary person who wants to join the Boy Scouts?
Then fucking go for it.
Or if they're a trans kid?
Now, bear in mind, they did say they would allow girls. They didn't say they would allow other genders.
Oh.
That's the next step. I mean, it already took a long time for them to allow gays, so.
Now they're going to allow demi-gendered kids.
Which, I'm not going to lie, I had a problem, kind of a problem with that too.
With gays in them?
It only strikes it as worrying because of the whole idea of camp counselors always being very promiscuous.
Okay.
Have you heard the stories from Boy Scouts?
No.
It's very here. There have been times where there have been like sexual assaults that have happened toward minors in Boy Scouts.
The sad thing is I can see that strictly because of you have a bunch of you're trusting a bunch of adults with a bunch of kids, and you don't necessarily know what those adults may or may not.
Yeah, may or may not like be somewhat promiscuous with children. But the part with the whole idea of allowing like gay, it sounds weird saying this, but gay boys into the Boy Scouts is that you kind of create this extra amount of tension there. Also, Moon left again. She seems to leave at the more controversial topics. If it was more like supervised, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But with any organization, there is mild controversy, and with any mild controversy, people tend to get hurt. And I kind of had this idea where if you allow boys who do like being around the same sex to hang around these guys who seem like some of them do like young people, it kind of goes hand in hand and it causes big issues. But that's just me. I'm sorry if that offends anyone down the line. But now we have girls coming in, which has a wider demographic with it. because if there's anything that I've learned working at the establishment that we've been like working at for a while, it's that you hear the comments that they make, you hear the statements they make toward people where both you and I can see that they are children. They are teenagers. They probably are hoping to get home in time to do their middle school class homework. And we're hearing like people in their 40s and 50s saying, can't wait for them to get older and stuff like that. Like, I never liked the idea of the Boy Scouts. To be entirely honest.
Neither did I.
So, heightening the acceptance to like allow young girls to go into this place that's supervised by mainly guys. I think there might be some women in the pot there, but mainly guys.
And there should be at least now. I mean, if they didn't before, I think that'd be the only smart thing to do would be to add them into at least as a. I would be more comfortable trusting my daughter with a mix of men and women than just men.
Right. Like, you know, I've been told that I have like really bad toxic masculinity. And I can only think that if people actually heard my opinions on stuff like the Boy Scouts, they would probably be think very different of me. But the you know, like even the Girl Scouts doesn't bug me nearly as much as like the Boy Scouts. You know, so like if I were to hear that you were allowing your daughter to go into the Girl Scouts, it's like, oh, cool. A social experience for a bunch of females, probably some feminist propaganda gets thrown in there, what have you. Now, if you told me that your daughter was going to be joining the Boy Scouts, I think I'd pull you to the side and ask you if you were thinking clearly. Because that's... I just don't... I don't adhere to that. I oddly enough, growing up around a bunch of guys, going out of college, growing up around a bunch of guys who are preying on girls who may or may not have been old enough, and even now, sitting here, I'm 26 years old, and I still hear comments about this shit. Why would I feel secure about allowing girls into the Boy Scouts? That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah. I'll catch you.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite that liberal.
No.
Oh, hi, Ben.
Oh. Mythicon apparently went off. 14 minutes ago, Armored Skeptic, Mythicon, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, the interview finally went up? The presentation, rather?
Yeah.
Moon, you missed our entire discussion about Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and all that stuff.
Oh boy.
And she's like, yeah, I know. You guys don't want to hear my opinion on this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave until I think you guys are done.
I crashed, okay? Jeez. I can't. Oh, sorry. I just can't have too many tabs up and my internet crashes. Oh, not my internet,
Your browser
crashes. Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're safe this time. Oh.
Also, Bree has a new video out too, so.
Oh. Great. Oh.
I'm literally looking up all these stupid OC maker games. What am I doing?
So does your daughter like come in dozens? Because she seems to be egging a lot of this stuff on.
She does. Egg stuff on.
Obviously, she went from crying to laughing to crying again in like 20 seconds.
Yep. She will cry. She will cry to try and get a reaction, try and get people to let her get her way, or to get you to do stuff. Which is why when I know that's the reason she's crying, you can see I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
If there was another reason for her crying, oh, I'd be up and moving.
Oh, we've seen you. We've seen you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not entirely a sociopath.
Just borderline.
Yeah, just borderline. We're all borderline. You almost have to be in this day and age.
The hell am I?
Come on, what? It's not like borderline personal. Yeah.
Oh,
Borderline
BPD.
Personality disorder.
Yeah, BPD. Do we want to bring up those videos?
Wait, what videos?
That lady with BPD.
Oh.
Where she filmed herself and she's like, "Hi, I'm Autumn, and I'm the protector of the group. I am the most like fierce of them." Then she has one that's just like, "Come out here and fuck me." I love those videos. Only because of how like over the top they are. Like BPD is a real thing, and then we have situations like that where it almost doesn't seem believable because for some reason there's multiple of them, but they can be controlled.
Just got your message, Jay. Just checked my Discord.
I would think that they could be contrived.
It is getting around to be my dinner time, so I shall be back.
Well, it's getting around to be closer and closer to the ending time too.
Okay. If I don't return before the end of the stream, then you can. I don't know. You probably got most of my. Probably got used to most of my outros with the social media crap, so you know where to find me.
If this is your first episode of the podcast, you know where to find her.
You need to start putting links to our social media.
You need to give me a link. I have a link to mine and mine, Lazrpo, and R. I don't have a link to you because you need to like send it to me.
Okay.
I'll add it. Yeah, I will gladly add it.
Okay, let me just get on here. Okay, that was just lovely. Let me copy. I'll send it over Discord. There's my Twitter.
Help. Send some fucking help. I don't know what's going on anymore.
It died. We all died.
We all died.
There's my Twitter. Me. I shall see all of the you nerds later, and hope everyone who's watching the podcast has a wonderful rest of their night. So, see you guys.
Have fun.
Certainly. See ya.
She's dead. She's gone.
She's dead.
I'm trying to think because there was one other topic that I don't remember if we've already covered it or not.
Content cop.
Content cop.
The iDubbbz content cop with Asian Jake Paul.
So we talked about last week the fact there was a content cop. We didn't get into a lot of details on it, but we did mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, after what, like 5 days, Ricegum responded and then released a diss track. Allison, if you're going to cry, go to your room. What? Hold on a second. Bring me your foot.
I
You
can
do not
entertain
need
the
to walk
crowd.
like that. You are fine. Let me see. See, even after I said that, you were fine. It's fine. It's a little scratch. You're going to be okay.
Don't you realize she's going to die? She's going to die from that little scratch.
No, she wanted to stand back here and make faces at my camera, so I turned it off the screen so she couldn't see herself. So she was trying to see herself on the laptop, so I closed my laptop. So now she's like trying to come up with another excuse.
Oh. Ah, you froze. Did I freeze? Am I frozen?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm sorry. That was actually dissociative identity disorder. And also, I'm going to have to mute my mic because all of a sudden, someone's calling me again. So entertain the class for me, please.
Okay. I gotta go pee. Anyways, so Ricegum made a response in which he focused on some really stupid aspects. Like, he really did a poor job ripping apart Ian's argument. And more just sounded like someone who was complaining about the fact that, you know, he got dissed. He's all like, you know, yo, for shizzle, why you mess with me, huh?
Oh, that's racist.
That's very stereotypical of you, Jay.
I know, right? I love, like, one of the things that gets pointed out, like, you know, Ricegum calls iDubbbz obsessed, which Ricegum asked for the content cop.
Yes.
Everyone knows when he does a content cop, he goes through everything he can. There's a reason they take forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does as much research on you as he can. He calls iDubbbz obsessed. And then makes, what, 4 videos on him? 4 videos?
4 videos. 3 of which had the track in them, right? Despite the fact that there was no diss track.
3 of them had part of the diss track. He kept, like, you know, here's a little bit more of it. Here's a little bit more of it. Here's a little bit more of it. And then he released the whole thing.
And the bad thing is, like, I thought it was funny how some of his responses were so juvenile. Like, you know, iDubbbz openly says the N-word because it's supposed to, you know, be absurd comedy, not PC. So then Ricegum shows his black friends the videos. And it's supposed to convey how messed up iDubbbz is. iDubbbz knows he's messed up. And he brought up older videos of his too. He did everything Leafy did.
He did.
In these like 400 videos they released in 3 days. But then you actually get to the diss track, which I haven't gotten a chance to actually watch all the way myself. But seeing some of the clips, you can just tell how off he is.
Oh, it was bad.
Very contradictory.
I will say this much.
Mm-hmm.
I am not pro ad blocker. I pay for YouTube Red, which means when I watch someone, even if they're demonetized, well, unless they're fully demonetized, if I watch someone and they're partially or fully monetized, they will earn a portion of, they will earn a chunk of money no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time ever, I thought about opening incognito mode and installing a ad blocker to watch the videos because they were so bad.
Good. That's actually the reason why I have not watched it, because I was trying to think of a way to obtain it without giving it ad revenue, but I couldn't because I was on my phone.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, good. I'm glad it's bad.
But
frick the police.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's stupid.
It's magical. But Ian made his response much quicker than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect Ian's content deputy to drop this week. I was expecting it to be next week, but apparently he had pre-recorded some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, some of the other stuff was just it was something he could easily throw together apparently, because Rice Gum spent so little time making such good arguments that there was almost no work that needed to go into it. At least Leafy took a minute to respond.
Right. In the three other videos that Rice Gum sent Ian's way, he was able to make enough content to create a content deputy from 3 videos that Rice Gum posted that weren't even the diss track. There wasn't even the diss track was included in the video to such a little degree that it made it almost null and void. And I can only imagine if Ian had actually seen the diss track in time, because the very last, the very little parts that are available of it in the video is seriously just 30 seconds of the video.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if he had a chance to actually dissect it, it would have worked out better. Maybe that's something he's going to do with Dave from Boy in a Band.
That would be hilarious if even if just Boy in a Band made it on his own, just made a lyrical breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
because I tell you, some of those lyrics are. I'm surprised at how many of the lyrics contradict the rest of the rap. The entire diss track completely screws itself over. Just goes to show he does use ghostwriters. Because he can't write a rap worth of shit.
Well, actually, that makes me confident in the fact that he probably wrote that on his own.
Yeah, he finally wrote something on his own, and it sucks.
I'm tempted to write a diss track on him just because at least mine would be lyrically competent.
Almost positive it's going to be more lyrically competent than anything he's. Well, I won't say anything because I haven't listened to Rice Gum's stuff. I mean, that's not a fair judgment.
I
can't be good though.
I could probably just aim to make something on the level of Arctic Slay, and it would be better.
Did it feel good though? That's a reference to the video where Rice Gum asks. Yeah, where Rice Gum asks if the girl who got raped thought it felt good. What a beautiful video that is. I hope there's more that comes from this. Because Ian has never made a response to a response. But I have a feeling that that of any of the people, Rice Gum will be the one who makes it happen.
I don't know. Given the way that Ian is, I could very well see him. Forgive me, I'm actually editing something really quick while I'm at it. I need to put Moon's stuff.
Flip's desk.
I'm putting Moon's stuff in the description.
Okay.
So I'm actually doing something important. But yeah, it's almost, I think that Ian probably will avoid it just because I don't see
You don't see him caring enough to do it? Because I don't.
exactly. I kind of see this being something of him just being like letting. In fact, I think it would almost be more fitting. Like if Rice Gum responds to this next one, Ian says nothing. Rice Gum gets aggravated and makes another one and like just tries to call out Ian, and Ian just ignores him. I think that would be even better because especially if Rice Gum could get mad enough from it, Rice Gum could probably tear his own foundation out from underneath him. And that's the way you take someone down. It's how freaking Leafy got torn down.
Just shut the fuck up, Rice Gum. You'll prevail.
It's like Rice Gum. Don't pull a Leafy. Drop it. Walk away. Breathe. The reason why the reason why Leafy's career tanked as opposed to everyone else a content cop has been done on that has been big is he wouldn't let it go. Let it go. Just stop. And you'll be fine.
Let it go. Let it go.
Or don't let it go because I would love to see.
You're one with the wind and sky. Let
Anyways.
it go. Let it go. They'll never see you cry.
Oh, fuck.
Here we stand and here we'll stay. Let the storm rage on.
Well, I'm going to need to cook here in a minute.
Okay, we should probably end the podcast then.
Yeah.
Nothing says a beautiful listening experience like running water and yelling.
Come on, that sounds like fun. So, thank you all so much for Leafy drove at least one guy to near suicide. He did. I'm not at all sad for Leafy's career dying.
Do we actually have someone watching?
That was Kay, yeah.
Did I miss something?
Kay said Leafy drove at least one guy to near suicide. To which I said, yes, that's true.
Indeed.
Leafy is a terrible person. I'm glad that his career is dead. Very much, very much. Rice Gum just is a terrible human being. Leafy...
I'm back.
Yeah.
I accidentally middle clicked the wrong tab.
Brilliant.
I'm good at what I do.
If everyone IDub's gone after, I think Leafy was the most deserving of a career death.
Oh, definitely.
Everyone else is just pointing out character flaws. Leafy was like career just homicide. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into this. I have been ArticJay. You can find me on youtube.com/ArticJay, twitter.com ArticJay, twitch.tv ArticJay. You get the point. Everything else can be found on my YouTube.
All right, and my name is Lazrpo, and you can find me at youtube.com/Lazrpo. I might actually post something in the next few weeks. I don't know. I know. It's exciting. It's new. But also, you can find me on Twitter /StickyTreason. That's sticky_TREASON. And I don't think I have any new social medias up. So
there we go.
And this has been the 3 Nerd Podcast. You can find us on youtube.com/3nerd1 channel, twitter.com/3nerdcast. And, well, you can subscribe to us here. Catch us every Wednesday for another podcast.
Scribble up your bibble.
Anyways, until next time, you guys have fun. We'll see you later.